Silver manifesting, years later, I was really adamant that somehow, some way, I would teach people that program that turned my life around originally. Now, a long story short, I got to be trained in it. It's not available anymore. However, the course I train today as Silver Manifesting is not the same as the box of CDs. There are 11 exercises and 8 of them have been revamped, revised, updated, and changed. Completely replaced, in fact, many of them. So the one I train is really different. All exercises are different and none of them are in the Silver 4-day. And that's what I love about it, Amy, because if you are a Silver graduate, you're going to love that program because it's got everything new and you've got something else to build on. And if you've never done the Silver method, people couldn't pick a better place to start. I love the program. It's so easy. Everyone wants to know how to manifest. So you get like the real handle on how to manifest and all that context behind it. Of course, if you've done Silver Manifesting and that's all you've done, I strongly urge anyone to then go and do the Silver 4-day. You've got to have that full foundation. So either way, it's great for new people, it's great for grads, but it's not the same. So manifesting deals with childhood blocks. It deals with the imprint phase between 0 and 7 in a very deep dive way. We don't do that in Silver. We go age regression, we go future pacing, all the way out and get a version of ourselves that's completely whole and complete and actualize so many things. And from there, we start to build back. So there's so many different kinds of techniques. And then we also learn a person's personal coach of success. And this is what I love about Silver Manifesting, because if you don't know what blocks are, you can't get rid of them. So once we know how things like abandonment or rejection as a baby or helplessness, so many children feel helpless when they're crying or they can't get out the cot. They could be 18 months. It doesn't matter how old the kid is, or they feel out of control. They just want to go with their parents when they're going out for dinner, but they're with a babysitter. They feel out of control. Those core experiences, even if you were only 6 months or 18 months, you don't even remember them consciously. Those are blocks to manifesting, and we need to know that they are. And also other things like fear, we self-sabotage, all these factual under the surface things, we don't deal with it in the Silver Method 4-day. So that's really what I love about it. And then also in the Silver Method, we learn desire, belief, and expectancy. In manifesting, we go another step, it's connect. And that is, how many times can you just get that feeling of having that goal you want to accomplish, that feeling, just do it again. And that's what we do in open eye meditations, which are like zap meditations, we call them, or I don't know, stoplight meditations, because you've been just sitting at a traffic light. It's so quick, 10 seconds, you know. That is an absolute game changer. If a person wants something and they keep connecting with that feeling, everything in this universe is energy. So every time you feel that feeling, you raise your vibration to a match of your goal, and you engage all the cooperative components in the law of attraction, which you can't deny. They have to believe in the law of attraction. It still applies. Like I don't have to believe in the law of gravity, but if I drop this thing, it still applies. So I also go into teaching the universal laws, which is really important. And we need to learn how to live in harmony with them and all the self-awareness on our blocks and we get answers from our childhood imprint phase that you could not get at the conscious level. And that's what I love about it. I can ask you, Amy, what is a block to more money in your life? And you can say, I don't really know. You'll tell me what you do know. But there'll be something in there, many things in there that you don't know. But if I put you into alpha and took you really deep into a meditation and took you back in time and through a certain sequence of things, your subconscious would be ready and prepared to pop a memory up, and you'll go, oh, I remember my dad saying, don't show off with money. It's very shameful. Once you've got that, you realize, all my life, I never bought this because it's shameful to show off. I didn't buy that. I didn't earn it. I kept myself back. This is a program that It's the technology behind manifesting. It's the science. I'm not talking about woo in manifesting. It's pure science. And then if I may just quickly add on, and the reason I love putting love yourself, heal your life straight after, you might uncover more things in silver manifesting, but we need to heal these things. And that's why loving yourself is definitely the way to improve your life and healing your life. And we do 2 full days of the most amazing techniques. And you did the course, so you can tell me what you found it to be.
One of the things that was so amazing and eye-opening is that I think as individuals, when we're going through our life and we hit up against these blocks, we may be aware of a little bit. Either we're aware of it or we're not. And if we are aware of something, it may just be something super, super small. And when we come across these blocks, they're very compartmentalized. And I found that when going through Silva manifesting, it really looks at these blocks. It looks at what things may come up over and over again, but as a whole complete picture of who you are and who you are from a young age until now. And when you look at the whole picture, you become aware of how these blocks have really come up in your life in a lot of different ways. And instead of a one-off block, it's a block that probably has been a thread throughout your life. And that's actually one of the reasons why I was so excited to take the course, because I had actually become very aware of something that had kept coming up pretty regularly. And I'd say, I see you. I know why you're here. I know I've got to get through you. And each time I'd make some progress, but I came up against a wall where, okay, I need to do something different. And because the tools that I have, having gone through Silva at a young age and having my Silva practice grow and change over the course of my lifetime, I threw everything at it and realized, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for this, which is one of the first things. You've got to be ready for something. You've got to be ready for change, ready to do something different, because when you do something different, then things actually change, right? It was just a shift in how I looked at all of the techniques that I have learned previously. It was a shift in how I looked at the block and what I needed to know behind it, behind the block, right? It just, again, cracked wide open. It was like, yes, here is the information you need to know, which I would not have received that quickly otherwise. And when you know what the block is, you begin to see how it affects your life and how it manifests physically, which also occurred for myself. So going in to heal your life, it gave me I knew what I wanted to work on, but it gave me more points of reference to really dive deeper.
Yeah. And how did you find Heal Your Life?
It was radically different than anything I have ever done before, which I was very excited about. I knew nothing going in other than knowing Louise Hay's work, but never really diving super deep into it, meeting other people who have gone even deeper with her work and having these conversations. And so I knew that it was going to be wonderful. It was radically different. It was pushed me really outside of my comfort zone, but in the most wonderful ways. And the space that was held for us, you do a really wonderful job at holding that space. And I think that is the number one thing really in any growth training that you go into, or any self-growth that you do, that has to be there in order for it to happen. And I actually got through something I had told you and Nancy about this while I was there. I had this pain in my foot that had been there, and I knew my foot was completely well. There was nothing wrong. I had injured it about a
And
year ago, and the injury was gone, and so I knew. I kept saying, "I know what you are, and I know I've got to get through you. I'm not quite sure what I need to do here." And having the conversation after Silva manifesting, going through Heal Your Life, it brought everything together for me in such a way that I
Mm.
then just get through it and realize, "Oh, wait a minute, that's what that is."
I love that, and that your foot healed. I also, when I very first did Love Yourself, Heal Your Life, it was the most radically different. I've never done a program where you don't sit and listen to a lecture. And I don't love about Heal Your Life is it's so gentle. Everyone only operates at the pace at which they are willing and able to deal with whatever they need to do it. So I always make a joke, but I mean it when I say everyone on the planet needs to do 10 Heal Your Lives just to get started, not to finish your life, just to get started, because we've got so many layers of childhood stuff to heal. And the layers are, I'm going to say it, Louise Hayes says it, it's not me that says it, they are infinite. You can never stop the healing journey. So if a person did Heal Your Life, I did it 3 times in a year, and it's so significantly improved my life in so many ways. Even for yourself, Amy, being together again next year with you in Atlanta, and you reset the course again, you're going to tell me, oh, well, I got so much value this time because you've got through the top surface and you get to the next layer. So I love the program, and it's so well placed after Silver manifesting, because you will get the awareness of some blocks you have. Yes, you deal with them in Silver manifesting themselves, but you'll get as you said, a broader perspective, a bigger picture of how this kind of all fits together. And there's things that we need to work on that are blocks specifically to money, like forgiveness. I always say, if a person's got a block with money, the only question you have to ask yourself is, who do I need to forgive? And some people will do this and they'll do that. They'll visualize, they'll do the Silver method, but they will not forgive. So when we talk about forgiveness in the right way, in the Heal Your Life, we've got enough time. We don't have enough time to do that in Silver manifesting. We do have forgiveness exercise. There is one in there, but there's one in there. Come to Heal Your Life, there's a whole lot more stuff. Every person on the planet has forgiveness work to do. And generally with people on the family that you grew up in. So we forget about these things. We think, oh, that happens when I was 5, that happened when I was 12. No. Those things might be deep-seated, but they do need that energy to be cleared out, and that, what I call a boundary, is like in the brain, anything that hurt you, made you angry, traumatized you, you fire the neurons in a pattern, and it affects you. So you think about it, and it does in the same pattern, and you think about it again, and fires the same pattern. And this thing becomes the thing that you carry as a heavy burden when it happens to you. So you keep firing it. And after repeating that pattern so many times, it creates a neural net, a boundary, so to speak. We've got so many of these. We call them trapped emotions. We call them limiting beliefs. We call them conflicted values. They're all this boundary of neurons. So all we need to do is break the boundary, open it, and the energy can flow. It cannot regain its shape. Once you heal it, it can't go back. So healing, oh my goodness, is the most valuable thing to improve a person's life, because every time you heal, you can't go back. And you keep opening up. And the course's title, Love Yourself, Heal Your Life. You get willing to love yourself. Some people say, oh no, I do love myself. We don't love ourselves enough. We really don't. We can all love ourselves more. I can, you can, everybody can. And that's the game changer. Because when you love yourself, you won't have an unhealthy body. When you love yourself, you won't struggle with money. You'll look after yourself. When you love yourself, your relationships will all improve. People that are no good will somehow just energetically drift away, and the right people who love and support you will be more in your life. Everything improves. So I can't talk about it enough. And they're really good back to back. But it's about manifesting a better life, and everything here supports that. It's all in the same direction.
One of the things that really stood out in manifesting was you've got to feel good. And that really resonated so much with me. And I also think it resonates if you have gone through Silva Life and Intuition, because we are our own library of reference points. We have within us all of this information that we can access at any time. And when we can access those moments that we felt amazing and everything was going wonderfully, and be able to really pinpoint to what was going on at the time, and we can really bring that forward. And most of the time, I think we're so programmed, especially nowadays, to, okay, I've got to get to the next goal. I've got to get to the next goal. And we do not do enough of valuing all of the small steps from where we came from. And when we're able to do that, we can really sit with those emotions and feeling good and knowing that our brains really love to feel good. It wants to feel good all the time.
Yeah.
And being able to do that in manifesting the things that are important to us and co-creating with the universe. What do you feel, other than feeling good, how do we take that, and how does someone coming through the class for the first time say, okay, I can feel good. I know when I have felt good before. How do we take that and really harness it, and at the same time recognize these blocks that we have to move us forward?
Look, I hope this is the answer to the question. And I'm thinking correctly, but in my own life, until I did Heal Your Life, I always had an underlying anger when I dealt with my mother and my older brother. Now, I couldn't consciously tell you what I was angry about. You could ask me, and I actually didn't know, but I find us irritated. As a general, it's not my personality, it was a general vibe that whenever we were together, I'd be triggered all the friggin' time. And this was like lifelong. And I so badly wanted to change that and have a better relationship, because when I was very young, I had a wonderful relationship with both of them. And I thought, what happened between then and now? Why am I always triggered and angry? And I can say it was only through Heal Your Life that, first of all, become aware of them. Manifesting brought up some stuff I was not even aware of. And Heal Your Life, I worked on that. And when you say to be happier, you actually can't be happy if you're feeling angry. Anger and sadness are the same, two sides of the same coin. But there's some things that happen with certain people. Often it's our parents, okay? Or our siblings. Those are the most common ones. Yes, we do have stuff with our significant partner, but everyone's that we need to do what we need to do to get that undercurrent of anger or sadness or frustration out the way to manifest. You can't manifest with that underlying undercurrent. Many people don't even know what it is. So what I love about Heal Your Life is it's the most gentle designed program. I'm not kidding when I tell you that program is so cleverly designed that you just sit there and you think, I'm doing a bit of a process, I'm going to journal a few thoughts, but oh my goodness, the transformation that happens in the subconscious through these very gentle exercises shift so many things. And yes, you speak about being cracked open. That for me was my biggest thing. I healed that finally with my mother and with my brother. And remember, I told you I did Heal Your Life 3 times in a year. So some things you've got to continuously work on. You've got to revisit twice, or there's something else, or there's a memory at 12, or there's another memory at 14. I don't know. But that's, Amy, when I say there's only 3 things to manifest all the good you want. And maybe we'll write them down. The first one is feel good. Second one is feel good. And the third one is feel good. I'm not kidding. It's joy and love that everything good happens in our life. And we aren't even aware how off those vibrations we are throughout a day, how we dip into frustration, we dip into anger, we dip into complaining. We do it. We all do it. We're all human. And that's fine. With awareness, we can shift and lift our vibration over time and train it to an upward place. That's what my goal is, helping people know. And also to be aware, you just said people want to go for this goal and that goal and this goal. Don't you want to know your personal code to manifesting? Because once you decode that, you just replicate it. You can have any goal you want, but don't you want to know that and then remove the blocks that stand between you and manifesting? For me, that's the gold key. Once you've got that, let's see what we want to create. And if you love yourself, you want to create bigger and better as well, because you're not playing small. You're saying, yeah, why do I want that? When I can actually, if I wanted to, imagine having that. Why not? We don't feel deserving at a deep subconscious level. That from self-love is we feel more deserving and we feel more worthy of a wonderful life. And I have to say this for everyone listening. Everybody deserves to have it all. Anything less is a limiting belief. We deserve to have wonderful relationships. We deserve to have all the money we want to do whatever we want to do with it. We deserve to have wonderful, purposeful, meaningful careers. We deserve to have wonderful friendships, travel, fun, health, great spiritual life. We deserve it all. Health, perfect health. We deserve it all. So anything less is a limiting belief. And that's really my passion that drives me, is I want that for everybody. I know how this has changed my life, and that's why I teach it, because I want it for everybody. Yeah.
I can't wait till you come so I can go through it again. What I listened,
And I'm so
I'm like,
it was, I don't know if it was, but I think it was. This is my own kind of interpretation. When I was in Connecticut with you there, it was intuition that wanted me to ask you about coming to Atlanta, and you asked me, and I thought, this is connected. The thought in my head, and look, we're doing it. And you know what? We're going to serve people with this, Amy, and I think that's a beautiful thing. It honestly is. It's just touching more lives, helping more people have more relief and happiness in their life. That's it.
that's it. And at the very core of all of it is love. At
Yeah.
the very core. And I love that. I think that if I say for myself that if I can help just one person, people come in the class and there's just one person that walks away with an aha moment, then that was meant to be. That was what was supposed to happen.
There's a quote from a poem that says, to know that one life breathed easier because you have lived, that is to have succeeded. Yeah. I use the word relief and happiness because it is relief. When you get rid of your stress, oh my God, that is a feeling of relief. And you can stop worrying about money and family dramas, and it's a feeling of relief. And then you don't just want relief, joy, really joy. And it's true. It all centers around love. And actually, Heal Your Life, this program is actually a program about love. That's really what it is. Loving yourself and having the ability to love yourself so wholly and completely that you are able to love other people and be willing to forgive and get rid of all this negative emotion that we harbor, and really live with love in our hearts and compassion for people instead of judgment, even our own judgment. Stop judging ourselves first and foremost, then we won't judge others. Yeah.